This topic for our video lecture is Feminist Criticism in the Wilderness by Ellen Showalter. Showalter has written this essay in the year 1981 with a question that what is the difference in women's writing. Actually, she is focusing on the women's writing, and before that it began the shift from an androcentric, which we called as the focused on the men's writing, and to a gynocentric mode, which is called a concern only with women, feminist criticism. According to Ellen Showalter, there are two distinct modes of feminist criticism. One is the feminist as a reader or a feminist critic, and another is feminist as a writer or a gynocritic. We have to focus on the second one. Now first we have to look at feminist as a reader or feminist critic. Women as a consumer of a male produced literature. In this section, all the literature before 1941 or say before the 1940s, the literature which is written by the male counterparts has been focused on their point of view. So women are always subdued or rejected, and its subjects includes the imagery and the stereotype of women in literature. They only focus on the literature which is concerned with the women according to their point of view, from the male point of view, and the omission and the misconception about women in criticism. It is genuinely women-centered, independent and intellectually coherent. What we want to know and how we can find the answer to the question that come from our experience. That means the feminine aspect, the women's, from their point of view, they are never been entertained. It has more to learn from the women's studies than from the English studies, and still more to learn from the international feminist theory. Now we have to look at the most important aspect which Showalter has covered, that feminist as a writer or gynocritics. Gyno here means focused on the literature related to women. Women is the producer of textual meaning. Here she wants to focus that all the literature which is written over the world has been focused on the women's literature and the text which is written by the women's itself. Its subject, history, style, themes, genre and structure of writing by women's itself. The psychodynamics of the female creativity. She is the creator of the literature and she wants to be focused on the center stage. Linguistics and the problems of the female language, the trajectory of the individual or collective female career, evolutions and laws of female literary tradition. Gynocritics hence offers many theoretical opportunities to see women's writing as their primary subject as opposed to androcentric. That means a literature which is written by the male dominated society about women is not up to the mark, and they are not covering all the aspects of the gynocritics. So it is the duty of the women critic or the women creative writers to take the free hand or the opportunity and to write about women in that sense. It is not the ideological dilemma of revisionary, but the essential question of difference. Means the difference between the men and the women. This difference is very much seen in the literature also, which has written over the years. So this essay would be closer to gynocritics, which examines the characteristics of a distinctively women's practice of writing and would perhaps be called a gynocritics. Now, is difference is a matter of style, genre or experience, or it is produced by a reading process? It is the difference of women's writing, a delicate divergency of the feminine practice of writing, because when a feminine practice has comes into the focus, you see in literature also you will see a delicate divergence has been mentioned, but we have the opportunity through gynocritics to learn something solid, enduring and real about the relation of women to literary culture. So it is the literature which is focused on the women's subject which is more important in the gynocritics. Now the data Showalter uses to support her theory of gynocritics is based on 4 models. She has given 4 models of the theory of gynocritics which she has propounded. The first one is the women's writing and women's body or the biological criticism. Second one is the women's writing and women's language or the linguistic criticism. Women's writing and women's psyche or the psychoanalytic criticism. And the fourth one, the women's writing and the women's culture, which is the most important one, or the cultural criticism. Now we are going to discuss briefly each one of them. Taking at the point of the first one, women's writing and women's body, or we can call it as a biological criticism, because women are also discriminated on the basis of body or the biological ground. The discrimination based on the body as how women see themselves in relation to society, and hence to understand how they represent themselves in writing. They redefine biological differentiation and its relation to women's writing. Its strength is its reliance on personal experience that words on confessional. It stresses the importance of body as a source of imagery, because they started taking their biological structure in the form of writing, and they are experiencing, they are using their own experience, rather personal experience, in their writing, so that a woman is in a better position to write about a woman and their problems rather than their male counterparts. So according to one of the critics like Miller, who points out that the body of a writing and not the writing of a body. Some of the Victorian physicians believed that women's physiological functions diverted about 20% of their creativity from brain. And another Victorian anthropologist believed that front lobes of the male brain were more developed than their female counterpart, and thus women were inferior in intelligence. So now taking at the second point, women's writing and women's language, or we can call it as a linguistic criticism. It examines the possible ways in which men and women use language differently. I don't think there is a differentiation between when a creative writer is writing any literature. They differentiate only on the basis of linguistics. So language doesn't take part in important role. Whether sexual difference in language use can be explained in terms of biology, socialization or culture. Yes, the language plays a very vital role in the biological, sociological and cultural aspect. Women have been denied the full resources of language and have been forced into silence. Here most of the time the women's literature is on a silence mode as compared to its male counterpart. They are always on having a upper hand while writing a literature. Women should be allowed to express their consciousness and have equal access to language. So they are demanding that they should be allowed to express their self-consciousness and have equal access to language. Which means the language should not be a property of only male dominated society. It should be equally treated or equally shared with the women counterparts. Its strength is the powerful emotional appeal of the notion of a women's language. Definitely emotional aspect plays an important role in women's literature, and when a woman is writing, is doing any creative work, a language plays a vital role. So women should be given freedom to use language of their choice. As Virginia Woolf rightly said, all that we have ought to be expressed, mind and body, rather than wishing to restrict women's linguistic range. We must fight to open and extend it. Now next point, the women's writing and the women's psyche, or we can call it as a psychoanalytical criticism. It is a model of difference based on the relationship between gender and the creative process. Creative process doesn't look or differentiate on the basis of gender. If a person is creating something, he or she has the equal right to create that. In psychoanalytical term, lack has been associated with the feminine. We are seeing that always feminine or the female writers have been dominated, and but many feminists believe that psychoanalysis could become a powerful tool for literary criticism. The fear of inferiorization and the problem of negativity marks the women writers' struggle for artistic self-definition and differentiate her efforts for her male counterpart. But they cannot explain the historical ethnic difference or shaping force of generic and economic process of the change. Here the problem of negativity and the inferiority complex which has been imposed on the women writers has been differentiated. They should make their psychoanalytical what we say, it should be made their strength rather than their weakness, and they should explain it in the manner of the historical, ethnic or difference or shaping force, and it includes the generic and economic process also. So however, many feminist critics like Gilbert, Goober and Miller believes that women's texts bring together a variety of national literature focusing on the loyalty of emotional dynamics depicted in diverse cultural situations. So the emotional aspects, the emotional intelligence, or we can say the emotional aspect of the women's writing should make it as a strength. Now the most important and the last one, which includes all other all the three models which we had discussed earlier, and the last one is the women's writing and women's culture or the cultural criticism. It's a criticism, it's a theory, it's a model of culture which incorporates idea about women's body, language and psyche and interprets them in relation to the social context and linked to their cultural environment. So all this women's body, language and psyche all are incorporated into social network or the social context, and which is linked in a cultural environment. Cultural theory which acknowledges that these are important difference between the women as a writers and as significant as gender. When women as a writer, we can call it on a cultural aspect, so gender difference doesn't exist. Women's culture forms a collective experience within the cultural whole, an experience that binds women's writer to each other over time and space. It is considered the possibility of the existence of a female culture within the general culture shared by men and women. We have assumed one culture where a general culture in which men's writing are dominated, and the general culture they want to accommodate in that general culture so that their writing should also be valued. So rather, feminist critic must use the concept in relation to what women actually write, not relation to a theoretical, political, metaphoric or visionary ideal or of what women ought to write. So by summing up, according to Showalter, here Showalter wants to point out that the feminist theories need to articulate the areas specific to women and put this at the center of women's writing. Rather, the consequences promised are a rewriting of the cultural and literary history so as to include women, and a recreation of the accepted rules, and overhauling of the literary classification based on era and genre. Therefore, Showalter finally emphasizes that such a gynocentric cultural model must be able to take into account all the forces, whether it is ethnic, academic or economic, so as to plot the precise cultural locus of female literary identity, and this gain in cultural sensitivity is the most apparent impact of Showalter's essay. So she want to include all the aspects of women's literature into her work and she want to focus on the gynocritic aspects of the theory.